Rory Jiwani's on the phone. Good evening, Rory.
Good evening, Peter. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, and thanks very much for your time. We just discussed the first couple of races tomorrow at Cheltenham, but obviously from our point of view, we want to know where the money's gone. And let's take a look at the 135, that big handicap chase, 17 runners, 135. Any money for any of the horses there?
Yeah, a few lively ones already, and of course it's only 8:30 in the evening, so I dare say there'll be a few more moves before the night's out, and of course plenty more in the morning. But actually, I should mention, before the 4 televised races, before the ones you're discussing, there's a short order in the first. Standing Ovation, who won the Badger Ales at the weekend, quick reappearance, 6-4 favourites. So the punters could be off to a good start, and then they get into a really tough handicap chase, I think, the opener on Channel 4 and the 135. And A Turge, I know Catherine's keen on. It's been price-wised as well, and that one's 10-1 into 8-1. We've got joint favourites at 6-1 in Renard for Venetia Williams and Eastlake for John Joe O'Neill with AP on board. 6-1 joint favourites. A bit of money for Renard early, but it's interesting because Venetia's got 2 in the race. Renard's the 6-1 joint favourites, being ridden by Liam Treadwell. Elenica has been backed, and that's the mount of Aidan Coleman, and that one's 11-1 into 9-1. Another one that's been backed is Theatrical Star for the Tizzards, 20-1 into 12-1. That was an early mover. We saw some money early for that. Of the ones that were mentioned as fancies on the panel, So On Target, 8-1. I think we're quite keen on that one as well. And Have You Seen Me, 14-1, and Haven't Got a Scooby, 20-1. But a really tough race to start with. And with all the Channel 4 races, we're a quarter of the odds each way for all of them. Obviously, it's a handicap, but we're quarter of the odds, all of the races on Channel 4.
Now, the panel are quite split on the 4-runner event. It's amazing, really, because it divides opinion. What prices do we go on the 4 there?
Well, we're happy to take on Oscar Whiskey. We're joint top price at 4-6, and the thing about Oscar Whiskey is, obviously, on class, a fantastic hurdler last season and seasons before, but you've got to look at his last 3 runs, and he was beaten by Rev de Civila, and then he pulled up at Cheltenham, didn't run well in the Aintree hurdle, and you've got to take a loss on trust. And as one of your members of the panel said, chasing could well be an afterthought. And Catherine was saying about the horse having had enough. Well, if he's had enough, then he's not going to take to chasing round Cheltenham very well. And
I've certainly seen better 4-6 shots, I must admit.
Exactly, and he's up against rivals who are tested. I mean, you can probably forget the Cockney Mackem for this one, but Takin de Soy, Shallow Hurdle winner as mentioned, a bit of money for that one, 9-4 into 2-1. Looked to have plenty left in the tank when he won on his chase debut at Fosslas. And the Romford Pele. Now, this one has been interesting and has been backed for Rebecca Curtis. She's got the excellent Noel Feely in the saddle. That 12-1 mention, that's long gone everywhere. And we were 12-1 at one point. We're now 8-1 about the Romford Pele. And Cockney Mackem's 25-1. But Oscar Whiskey, if you do like him, we're already pricing him up for Cheltenham. 14-1 for the Arkle, and he's 10-1 joint favourite with Champagne Fever for the Jewson.
Okay, the 240, the David Johnson Memorial Intermediate Handicap Hurdle. Your price top runner in this race, best price? Yes,
I mean from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning will be top price every runner in this handicap hurdle, and a very appropriate name and named after the much missed David Johnson, whose colours graced the racecourses for many years, and of course he will forever be associated with the Pipes. Clues in the name, isn't it? David Pipe. There's a horse called Top Gamble. It's enough clues already, really. Her handicap debut, this one. The only concern, I guess, about taking a short price about him is that all 3 of his wins have been on heavy ground, but he is a son of presenting, so you'd think good ground, quick ground wouldn't be that much of a problem. He made his hurdles debut only in February. That was his last run. 1 run over hurdles, owned by Di Walters. 7-2 into 3-1 favourite already.
And do you think it'll go shorter sort of as time goes on tomorrow?
I can't believe it'll get much shorter than this. It's very, very competitive. Next best 11-2 Upswing, who was one of AP McCoy's famous 5 at Carlisle last month. And then there's another Di Walters horse in Whisper at the top of the handicap. It's a very tight handicap. I mean, Whisper's he's making his handicap debut for Nicky Henderson. Ran in some pretty hot company last season, rated 137, which may be generous. And he's also been price-wise. We were 9-1 we opened up. He's now 7-1. I think there was some 10-1 about somewhere else.
You guys always worry when price-wise comes up. It always drops a few points. And a more serious,
of course we do.
Yeah, absolutely, because he studies it. And Sandy, you got a quick question?
I think price-wise just copies Catherine Fry, doesn't he?
No.
Exactly.
I think he's been reading her tweets. I think John Spirit as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rory. In terms of the cross-country chase, I mean, this is, Balthasar King is going to be pretty short, but how do you price that race up?
Yeah, Balthasar King's 15-8 favourite. She obviously won over conventional fences at Cheltenham last month. Loves the place and 15-8 favourite. Next is Chicago Grey, 11-2, joint top price there. Although I think the cross country might suit him. He's the sort who hunts up around the back and then come late. Uncle Junior next at 7-1, top price that one. One we are keen to keep on side is Zest for Life. Trained by Ender Bolger, ridden by Nina Carberry, won at the Punchestown Festival and then was second the same week at the Punchestown Festival, beaten a short head by Sizing Australia, who won the cross country at Cheltenham a couple of years back. Last run was unseated by Sam Whaley-Cohen in the Velka Pardubica last month. But we want to keep him on side for this. Ender Bolger, obviously a specialist at this. We were 8-1. We've already had to clip that into 15-2. But Balthasar King, the one to beat, obviously, in that one.
OK, we're going to have to move on very quickly, Rory. You've got a couple of races on Sunday. The Greatwood, obviously, the main feature for Stan James. You mentioned there's been some money for a couple there. Do you want to just quickly mention the ones that have been for money?
Yeah, Cash and Go was really popular on the Monday in this case, 6-day entries came out. Cash and Go was backed from 10-1 in the morning to 8-1, and then the entries came out, and he was backed into 5-1 favourites, and that's still the price. Pine Creek was back the day after. He's 6-1. Money in recent days for If and But Why Not. That one was 16-1 midweek. That one's 9-1. Same price as Cashmere Peak, same Tagau, and Thomas Edison. Court Minstrel next at 11-1. It's 14-1 bar those, but great to be bringing the Greatwood name back. They do such good work with retired racehorses. Spirit Sun, who would have been a Stan James champion hurdle contender not so long ago, he actually went to Greatwood this week, and he's now in residence there. And so obviously it would be quite appropriate if Nicky Henderson were to train the winner, and in Cash and Go has been the one for money. And from 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, we will be top price every runner in that StanJames.com Greatwood hurdle.
Okay.
We've also got the Morgiano, I just quickly mentioned. Yeah. Hurricane Fly, the hot favourite for that. Jez Key also in the entries. We'll get the final list of runners tomorrow. At the moment, 9 entries. Willie Mullins training 7 of them. They can't all run.
OK. Thank you very much indeed, Roy. And thank you very much as well. With the last part of the show, we'll draw out a generated number that's been pulled out from production for someone who's won a pair of tickets, courtesy of Stan James as well. Thank you very much for that rundown, Roy, and have a good 3 days at Cheltenham.
Thanks very much, Pete.
Cheers, Roy.
Thank you.